Hello YouTube, welcome to your crash course into Anomalies in Zenless Zone 0. We'll be testing the anomalies out in the free training option of the VR mode of this game. We'll also be talking about the anomalies in our usual Figma way of having organized nodes. So let's start by describing anomalies very fast. We have 5 different types of anomaly, one for each element. Let's start from physical. Physical applies 2 effects. One is Flinch, and it's a status, so it's something that it lingers on the enemy, and it adds 10% days, we'll see it later. One is Assault, which is a big instance of damage, and it's instant. When it comes to fire, you apply fire damage over time, which means having a little procs of damage that are automatic and are off from the fire element. You also interrupt organic enemies, that's a side effect, it's not very important. Electric does the same, but the damage is only if you hit the enemy. So if you hit the enemy, you have a little proc of electric damage. Keep in mind it's different from fire. Interruption in this case is on machine. Ether is basically the same thing as electric, but it applies a different side effect, which is confusion. Confusion makes energy enemies attack their friends, so it can be useful. A little bit more useful than paralyzing them. So then, when it comes to ice, the freeze status stops action from the enemies. Then, if you attack the enemy, you will shatter, which is instant damage and removes freeze. After that, you have frostbite, that is critical damage increase against that enemy. So you have basically 3 states of the ice condition. It starts from a status, becomes damage, and ends up in frostbite, which is actually kind of also a status because it's there. And it keeps increasing crit damage, so it lingers on the enemy as well. Now, let's talk about how to apply those anomalies on the field. We'll be building a team and jump into the free training option. Alright, this will be our team. It consists of 3 different elements and there's nothing special about it. So, let's start. We'll be tuning up the tutorial stage so that it can help us. I will show you the settings we chose. If you want to replicate our tutorial, these are the settings. Alright, let's start with application and explaining them. If you shoot an enemy with anything, any hit will work, basic attacks or skills, the anomaly gauge will go up. The anomaly gauge is not the bar under the health, it's actually the little circle on the right. As you can see, I charged up half of the physical gauge. Keep in mind that the element you charge up needs to be the same as the one the character belongs to. So if I deal physical damage with soldier, nothing happens to the gauge, but if I deal fire damage with soldier, the gauge will go up. This applies to any character. Also, keep in mind that the gauges stay there, so if you apply another element, this won't override the gauge. Look, if you pop damage, you will see the gauge is still at the point where it was before. When the gauge is almost full, but you don't want to proc the anomaly, you can do this. Pop the skill and switch the character. As you can see, the gauge is now even more full, it's completely filled, but the reaction, the anomaly actually didn't happen. Alright, now we disable stunnable enemies so that I can show you the days that is inflicted by the flinch status that comes from the physical condition. If I pop the skill, I deal 30 and I apply the flinch status, that is the yellow halo. If I pop the skill again, in my sight! As you can see, the amount of days increased by 33 this time, which is 10% more than the original that was applied before the status went up. Keep in mind that when you apply the anomaly, the status will not still be up, so the last instance of damage you deal to the enemy before proccing the anomaly won't benefit from the status. Alright. Now I would like to talk about disorder, so let's start from the combat tutorial and the tooltip. The tooltip says that applying another type of attribute anomaly to the enemy that already has an anomaly on will override it, causing the disorder. This is described by dealing additional damage and accumulating days. This is not very clear, so we'll show you in the fight. Alright, I charged up 2 gauges. One is the electric, one is the fire. As you can see, they are both full. You can see only one because the other hidden, of course. Now, if I proc burn and then I proc another reaction, we'll see the disorder effect. So let's do it. Stun is already deactivated, so it doesn't get in the way. We apply burn. We apply shock, and disorder deals 2700 damage. What is that amount of damage? Well, we'll see it in the notes. To remove one reaction, I need to apply any of the other reactions. So, when I remove physical, assault second proc happens. What does it mean? I have another amount of damage that gets applied to the enemy and is smaller than the assault amount, but it's very similar when the disorder happens. You could see the fire actual effect on the field. So what happens when I apply disorder? I activate all the remaining burn DOT, damage over time, that I would have dealt to the enemy. So all the damage get immediately dealt instead of being dealt over time. The same applies with shock, but the difference is you apply all the damage you would have done by hitting the enemy. It's a little bit different. It's not really DOT, it's damage on every time you hit on a cooldown, because you can't really hit 100 times the enemy in a very short amount of time and have a lot of procs. The procs are on a cooldown. Ether works in the same way as shock, so we don't have anything to add. And ice, which is the more complex, is interesting because it actually refers to shatter, so you immediately deal shatter damage as a second proc. It's very similar to physical when it comes to disorder. There's something that is missing, right? Here says that disorder accumulates days. We tested it, but we couldn't find any instance of days accumulation. So this is a very important topic to talk about. Please test yourself if you see any days application when it comes to disorder. If we have no days application from all our tests, we'll file in a ticket because it would be strange. Now let's go down to our notes. Flinch increases days by around 10%. Disorder works an actual elemental reaction, and it's basically the only game elemental reaction in quotes, and it's a very fast way to proc damage, so maybe disorder teams will come out. Keep in mind that disorder plus physical anomaly is very strong. Disorder does not seem to apply days, we need to verify this. Switching out characters before a skill will not proc an anomaly, so you cannot fill the gauge whilst swapping out the character that is about to proc the anomaly. This is very useful if you want to proc 2 anomalies and trigger disorder, because if one status goes away, you won't be able to proc disorder. Alright, there are other notes here that I want to show you from the characters first. So let's go back to the game. So I chose Piper for an example, so let's talk about it. All you need to use for anomalies are these 3 stats. Anomaly Mastery will increase the how fast it is to gain the gauge. Anomaly Proficiency will increase the damage from anomalies. Attack will also increase the damage from anomalies. An anomaly type character like Piper will focus on applying the anomaly gauge faster. They are more effective in that. There is something else you need to remember. An enemy that is weak to the element you are applying the anomaly will gain the gauge faster. And I think this is everything you need to know to start using Anomaly in a very proficient way. Keep in mind that you can get this material from the description below. I will link you to Imager so that you can get these infographics. These notes will be on my Discord so that you can grab them, and on a image too in the description. Feel free to grab them and share it with your friends. Also, if you don't want to rewatch the video but you still want a very detailed guide, I will be publishing a guide on my website, neuralis.online, soon, so that you can use it. So that's everything I wanted to say in the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any question, please comment down below. I will be very glad to answer you. That's what I have fun with. This video required a lot of testing and research, especially when it comes to the flinch status to appraise if it was actually 10%. It seems to fluctuate a bit. We need more testing for actual exact damage. We need more testing for actual exact dot damage, and we'll be doing that too. Also, it was very weird that the combat tutorial tooltip was wrong, so I tested a lot, but it seems nothing came out. I talked with a Chinese friend to see if it was a translation problem, but it looks like it wasn't. I tried doing that with other players, but it seems we couldn't find anything that is about days, so we'll continue testing. This is our work. As Adventure Horizon, we are trying to keep you informed and have all the sources possible. If you want to participate, feel free to join the Discord. I will be happy to welcome you, and you can collaborate with us. If you want to just chill in the Discord, of course, you are welcome too. So, this is everything I wanted to tell you. This is Nero Atlas, signing out.